Hi, and welcome to today's VTuber Studio Open Q&A session. Let's take a look at today's trailer, and we'll be starting in 5 minutes. So thank you so much for coming to today's VTuber Studio Open Q&A session. As usual, we'll be walking through different updates to the VTuber Studio app development, and we'll be also walking through different exciting features. So before we start, we've just got a brief introduction of the VTuber Studio. So the VTuber Studio features the vast capabilities of the Off-World live streaming toolkit for VTubers and live streamers. And these capabilities are supported in editor and in game. So it means that you're able to stream in a packaged game as well as in the Unreal editor itself. This project is also open source for everyone to use and quickly customize and package into your own VTuber Studio. So the current project is available for downloads in the Download Center as well as our GitHub page. We've also got different features in the VTuber Studio. So I've mentioned this for quite a few weeks. The VTuber app currently supports different capture systems such as 360 camera, viewport capture, as well as the CineCam. We've also got streaming and media output. This allows you to stream to different platforms such as Twitch, Bilibili, YouTube, as well as saving to file, but we also support different outputs such as Spout, NDI, and virtual webcam. In the media input side, we have streaming in through screen capture, Spout, and NDI as well, so that's all very, very useful features that's already embedded in our toolkit. On top of that, for this project specifically, we've created an actor blueprint that allows you to select desired capture systems, their render targets, and display materials. This allows you to quickly bring all together these capture systems you want to use and to use them for your VTuber Studio. In this project, we also have different example assets such as avatars, environment meshes, and materials. So we'll be walking through that a little more today. More importantly, we want to, alongside this VTuber Studio development, we have these open Q&A sessions. So if this is the first time, if this is your first time to the Discord open Q&A session, we usually walk through different avatar customizations as well as audio setups, but we also have environment building, input and output directly from and to Unreal. We also have games packaging and UI development up and coming. For one of the final weeks of this open Q&A. We've also got different face and body capture technology options that will be explored during this open session. So feel free to ask questions if you're interested in this area. So our newest updates for the VTuber Studio As you may know, our studio kind of setup is available on GitHub as well as our download center. But what's really exciting here is that we've written a README for you to kind of clone this project, and this link is also up and running on GitHub. So once you have kind of Visual Studio, Unreal, and different NDI tools or different tools set up, you can then clone this project from GitHub to just use our VTuber Studio. So this week we're really looking at VTuber Studio updates and some audio set up by a member of our community, Sax Electro. It's been so amazing to have blueprints from our community. They're always super useful for the development of this project. So we have this amazing audio set up, including submixes, as well as an actor blueprint made by Sax Electro. So thank you so much for that. We'll be walking through a bit of the blueprint later today. We also have updates to avatar customization. So we've been working on this widget blueprint that allows you to customize the avatars really quickly. This is really cool if you want to kind of use the widget to access different skeletal mesh or adding accessories to your avatar. So upcoming for the next few weeks, we'll be walking through potentially like integrating widget for audio controls, so adjusting the volume of background music, your microphone input, so on and so forth. But we also have this really exciting plugin coming in, which is a Twitch integration. A Twitch integration communicates with Twitch and allows you to kind of like integrate chat messages into your VTuber Studio. So let's say you're using the application to stream to Twitch. You can then use that to get messages from your Twitch viewers, and then using those chat messages to interact with game objects in your scene. So this is super exciting updates to the VTuber Studio. Without further ado, let's start our Unreal demo. I'll just be walking through a bit of the audio blueprint as well as avatar customization. So just a second while I pull this up. Great, so as you can see here, I've got Unreal loaded up. And I'm just going to play this once to show you the different newest updates to our VTuber Studio. Cool. So now I've got the application up and running, just playing in editor. What you'll see here is that we have this really, really interesting funky sphere that's interacting with my voice. As I'm loading this app up now, you'll see that the background music is not on by default, but we can turn this on and off by clicking on this button at the moment. Just program it to kind of fade in and out as we click on this button. And while these settings are all the same with media output and captures as well as media input, what we've got slightly new is live link settings. So now I'm going to just have my phone up and use live link on my iPhone. What you'll see here is that with the settings, here are some kind of like live link settings or instructions, so that when you hit this button over here, this will pop up and show you how to set up LiveLink properly. So I've just got my phone up and I went to LiveLink settings and added a new target. In here, you'll have to find your computer's IPv4 address, which if you're on Windows, you can use terminal or go to Wi-Fi settings and scroll down to find your IPv4 address. In the LiveLink app, then you'll go into the settings, so the little cogwheel, go into LiveLink, which should show an iPhone, let's say, and inside targets, you just have to click add target and type in your IP address there. With this, you can then change your port number to either 11111, or you can set it as default, so that should keep working very easily. Now you'll see that as I'm speaking, the audio will be detected by the sphere, but you'll also see that my face capture is turned on following those instructions, so that's great. Apart from that, we've also got a new Metahuman setup. This is a new purple Metahuman, and added some kind of like emissive maps onto this character. I've just also removed the hair so that it could run faster on my computer. But what you'll see new here is that very excitingly, we've created a new blueprint allowing you to do a bit of customizations at runtime. So change the outfit to a t-shirt or a suit. These are all rigged to the Metahuman at the moment. I've done these externally on, I think, Clo as well as Blender. So that's all rigged to this Metahuman. Alternatively, you can also add different accessories. So if I zoom in a little, you'll see that this pair of headphones might seem a bit familiar. These are Jasper's headphones. We've also got new glass. The glasses you might have seen before, but now I'm stacking them up together. And as well as a necklace. This is also from Jasper's streams, so you'll find these very familiar accessories from Off-World, from the kind of like previous Bounty streams. If you're also interested in different VRM avatars, from the past few weeks we've shown you different ways to import your custom VRM avatars. Now we've just integrated them into the widget so that you can kind of change it at runtime really easily. Some VRM avatars are a bit shorter, so this is what you're seeing. Cool, so this is basically the biggest updates to our VTuber Studio. Another thing is that the audio, there's no more audio feedback when you speak. So previously, audio capture is turned on by default, but the submixes also fed back to the speakers, so you'll hear yourself speaking all the time. With this, you won't have to hear yourself anymore. And I'm just going to go into the editor to show you what's been going on in the background. So as you can see here, we have a new audio blueprint. So what we're going to do is click into this sphere, which is the audio blueprint, and in the folder audio, you'll find BP recording. So this is the blueprint created by Sax Electro. Again, thank you so much for your help. And look at this beautifully color-coded blueprint. So in here, you'll see that on the pink side of things, this is for when audio capture is capturing different values, it will transform the sphere, like have interactive kind of scale animations, but it will also, it is just basically setting up this dynamic material. But what's most important here is that now I've created a custom event which the widget has access to, and by clicking on a certain, let's say the home button, it will flip-flop. So it will either play background music or it will fade out of background music So this is super, super useful if you want to just play and stop background music while you're speaking and doing your VTube stream. What's really interesting here is that in the blueprint, you'll find audio capture, which allows you to kind of take in microphone inputs. So here you'll see that there is the capture. So there are two submixes here. One is on capture and one is capture mute. So in capture mute, it's turned down the output volume to -60. Let's put it to -96, let's say. This allows the capture input to not be listened to. So let's say my microphone's constantly recording at the moment. In the normal situation, the audio capture will speak. Hi, nice to meet you. So in the normal scenario, the audio capture will be fed back into your speakers, so you hear yourself speaking all the time. By adding a new submix and turning down the volume, this kind of submix will be muted, so then we won't have to hear ourselves. In the newest plugin version, we have added submix support to the plugin. So if we go into media output now, you'll see that my default settings are save to file, MP4 container, let's say. In advanced settings, you'll see submix being a new option for you to capture your microphone or audio in submix. So if you create a submix for yourself that has audio capture in, you can now select a submix to be recorded into the file or included in your stream. So this is super, super useful, allowing us to separate the microphone from the background music. And apart from that, I can also show you very quickly how the avatar customization is done. So I'm just going to play the app again to show you how that looks at the moment. So just going on full screen. So in the VTuber application on the fifth panel right here, you'll see that this is the avatar customization panel. I've basically cloned this widget panel to this. So now I'm able to kind of access the widget, to use the widget to control things in the scene, and this can be done within the widget blueprint itself. Previously, we've already referenced like VRM and Metahuman in the blueprint, so it's really just accessing the components, the skeletal mesh or static mesh components within this character for this blueprint. So just going to refresh a bit of memory. We have suit and t-shirt. So this is a skeletal mesh asset within the Metahuman blueprint. And then these are basically static mesh components inside the Metahuman blueprint as well. Alternatively, we have VRM, which they are full skeletal mesh assets within the same blueprint. So these are just replacing the skeletal mesh assets really quickly. So now I'm going to just show you how it's done on the blueprint. So going into content, levels, virtual human, and VRM, you'll see a widget folder. Very many folders in. In the VRM widget, as you can see here, I have 5 different overlays at the moment. So on the left-hand side, you'll see camera overlay, which is the media output and capture. We have input overlay, which is this one. And then we have home button, which opens up the home overlay. We have live link button, which opens up the live link overlay, and character button opening up the character overlay. So today we're looking at the character overlay. What I've basically done is duplicated the input overlay and then changed all the drop-down settings. So these are combo boxes, and in each combo boxes I've changed the options, the default options, as well as the array of different options. First of all, I've created a VRM and Metahuman option, so the user can toggle between a VRM and a Metahuman. With the VRM, so these are drop downs that will be visible depending on which option you choose. So this currently is the VRM option drop down, which will only appear if we choose VRM, and then the Metahuman ones, so Metahuman outfit as well as Metahuman accessories, that will only be visible when we choose Metahuman. So in the graph now, this is this yellow section here is basically the outfits section. So you'll see that when we first press the character button, it will show up this avatar customization panel over here, and then depending on which character type we choose, we'll see different kind of drop down being visible, or some of them will collapse. To change the VRM character, what I've done here might be a bit of a silly way to program it, but I've done basically just 3 branches, and it's kind of like an if statement or if else statement. So on selection change, if the selected item equals to default in the branch, in kind of like true execution pin, I've linked it up to the VRM character, I've gotten the skeletal mesh component in the VRM character, and I've set a new skeletal mesh asset to be loaded at runtime. Similarly, if the selected item is character 1, I've changed it to another VRM character and character 2 to the character 2 skeletal mesh asset. And very similarly, in Metahuman, what I've done is on selection change, if the user is choosing a suit, then I've got the Metahuman, and in here I've chosen get components by tag. This is really interesting. I've just started using it. I'm not sure if it is the best way, but sometimes it's really hard to get the exact component that you're looking for. Let's say in the Metahuman, where you have so many skeletal mesh components, and if you get an array, you don't know which one you're getting exactly. I was just doing this in a very convenient way, so I've just gone in the Metahuman blueprint, I want a skeletal mesh component, so I'm getting a skeletal mesh component. And then I've added a tag that is in the torso skeletal mesh component, I've added a tag so that I'll know that I'm always getting, I've added a tag with the same name, torso, so that with this tag, I'm always returning the same asset. And then I've set the skeletal mesh asset to outfit 1 on this branch, and then outfit 2 for this branch. Similarly on accessories, I've done exactly the same. So I've gotten the components by tag. In here, I've added glasses, headphones, and necklaces to the face as a static mesh component. These are all locked to the head socket. So it is bound to the head socket. And then in here, I've also added a tag to them, a component tag necklace, so that I know I'm always getting that component. and because it returns as an array, I will get the 0 index item, which is the first one in the array. And I've just set them hidden in game or either changing them as a skeletal mesh asset. So that's basically how the customization is done. Then finally, I've added a button, which here you can see is clear. So that will basically set everything, all the accessories hidden, allowing us to refresh and do the process again if we need to. And that's basically it. So very easily now you can see the kind of process behind customization. And this is basically how it's done. Change of suit. You can open up the Metahuman here as well, so that you can see what's actually happening there. So we're clear, we'll hide all the items here, set these static mesh items as hidden. Once we add them back on, it will just add them back on. I wanted this to be not an either or kind of drop down, but select all the options you like, because it's quite nice to have this stacked, very busy look of the character as well. However, on a skeletal mesh, it's probably ideal to only just have one that's rigged to your character. So in here, you'll see that in torso, I'm basically just continuously setting the skeletal mesh asset to something else. So from a suit, which is the outfit 1, to a t-shirt outfit 2. It really surprises me how fast Unreal does this. So yeah, very grateful for that. And then in Metahuman, I think it's called SKVRM Offload Live, basically just setting these skeletal mesh assets within a blueprint and having that done real time. And what I really like the most about this is that because Live Link is set up, it's basically just working on every character at runtime. So it's super convenient for you to just swap out your characters here. And that's basically it. Thank you so much for listening in today. I'm sure we'll be walking through Twitch integration very soon. That's going to be the next milestone of this project. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you're tuning in on YouTube, say hi as well. We might do a Twitch stream at some point to test our Twitch integration. So feel free to tune in then. Thank you so much for joining, and yeah, have a lovely, lovely day.